Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from today. And welcome to this conversation with the lovely Kass Thomas. Now, most of you do know me, but if you don't know me, I'm Smriti Shivdasani, and it's been my pleasure to have worked with Kass. I had been part of the hosting team when Kass came to Mumbai for doing this amazing access class, which is called the 3 days body class. And that's how I actually got to know Kass when I was hosting that class. And it's been an amazing journey. I love the fun that she is. And I love the way, um, you know, the way she has this sense of ease with everything in her life. And we've gone on to do a lot of work together. And then there's been a bit of a gap and we haven't done anything together. So I'm like really excited to have Kass with us today. And welcome, 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 Kass. As
Thank you.
always, it's been a pleasure to have you here with me and all
Absolutely.
of us.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for coming. And it's just always a yes with us. And I adore you, and
I
I love
adore you
you. And it's
too.
not a distractor implant. And do you remember we met in Florence,
Yes.
and we
That
had
was the
lunch
first time we
together?
were formally introduced. We went for that lunch together.
Exactly. And you were so clear. And then, you know, uh, this is all about, the new book, Dancing with Riches, right? But we did the Dancing with Riches class together in Bangalore.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in a moment. What I want to say about this first classes I did in India, the trip to India. It was the middle of 8 classes in a row in, you know, 7 different countries or states and 6 continents and all of that. And it was like the fourth class, I think it was in Delhi, and the fifth class, 3 day body class, was in Mumbai.
And your book launch, remember? Seven
And
Steps,
absolutely, the 7 steps to flawless
flawless
communication
communication,
in that store, which I will ask you the name of that so we can
tidal waves
yeah, by the waves, write
in
that down.
Bandra.
Yeah, and I remember life changing, life transformational experience. Being in the class in Mumbai and looking around, and tears of joy were came, and I said, I, th- I think I'm having success. Laugh when I say that, because one thinks, oh, I'm gonna have success. I'm gonna be, here. I'm gonna be this potent. I'm gonna be this. And I was like, oh my goodness, I think I'm having success. And so, what is it that what are the riches of our life, right? That we may not have acknowledged because we expect them to show up in a different way, right? Than they do. And what is that rhythm uh,
Mm.
that we can be really in sync with, so that we can actually dance with the riches of our life. And that is what the book is about. It's a little different than the class which we did together in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's each and every chapter in the book is about a different pillar of our lives. It's about our relationship with ourselves, and giving it's a how-to book, really, giving examples from how we engage with ourselves, what our points of view are about um, ourselves, how other people influence that, and how we can use the tools of access. The name of the book is Dancing with Riches, in step with the energy of change, using access consciousness tools. So even if people don't know what access consciousness is, it's just a question. That's what access is. It's not the answer. It's a question, and we are the answer. right? So what are the questions that we can use to activate our knowing, what we know, our intuition, our instinct?
Mm.
What are the callings in our life that if we're willing to hear them, to listen, then we can respond and be in communion with ourselves. So that's the first chapter with our bodies. That's the second chapter with money. It's the third chapter with business, the fourth chapter. And sometimes I'm sorry, the third chapter is about relationship with other people, and then money and business. And sometimes our business is our life, you know? It's and how we can be in harmony with that, and how we can find really the answers inside of us for that. And the small, very small sixth chapter is about the we are we living life with a purpose,
Mm.
right? Or are we living life purposefully? You know, and so it's a great invitation to really connect with yourself, and so that you can be inspired to step up and acknowledge, you know, how much you know, and how much ease you can have if you follow your knowing, and then step out and see the world from a different perspective, and be seen with lots of ease without any self-doubt or any lack of confidence, you know. And so I really hope this is an invitation for people to see life from a different perspective.
I love the sound of it. I mean, I remember being part of the class in Bangalore that many years ago, and it was such an experiential class. And so when I saw that you have now, written the book on it, I was quite excited. And I tried to get a Kindle copy. I couldn't. It wasn't available as a Kindle format yet. So I've ordered my physical copy. So I should have that in a couple of days. I was hoping I'll have it before this call today, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Okay, did you go to Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk?
In No.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Amazon.in also has it, but just
Yeah.
has it as a hard copy right now, not
Okay.
as a Kindle copy yet.
All right.
So
It
yeah,
just came out in English. It came out in French 2 years ago, in fact. And I've got external publishers. It's not published by Access Consciousness Publishing,
right.
but it's all about the Access tools and that external publisher in France. So during the advanced body class with Gary in Paris, you know, Grace Douglas and Christine McCarthy, they run Access Consciousness Publishing. They were like, yes, let's, you know, how much will that allow people to receive these tools,
Yeah.
the use of these tools? And like, you know, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, said, if people are able to use these tools and know about Access, not even know my name, I know that I've been a contribution. So how cool is that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
it's
love that about Gary.
and so the English version came out with an American publisher,
Mhm.
and it's also available in the UK now. And I think the Spanish version is the next version coming out
Woohoo.
with Access Publishing. Yeah, yeah.
So, Cass, I know we've got a lot of lovely people here and who would want to know more about, you know, the energy of actually dancing with the riches. Like you said, riches can mean different things to different people, right?
Absolutely. And
Like,
I
yeah.
just want to share this
Hmm.
this class called Dancing with Riches that I've been doing for maybe 5 years, 6 years, about because a lot of times people, when they are concentrating on something like a project or a business creation, it's much easier to invite them to connect with themselves. If it's just about connecting with yourself, people sometimes are not comfortable. So we did this class in India together in Bangalore, and you know, breaking people up into different groups, and they're creating a project together, and then they present it. It's a 2-day class, right? And I'll be doing an intro to it on July 14th. So I just remember, Smriti, I don't know if you remember, with your group, you know, the project that you ladies wanted to create, you all had different ideas about it. You were at one point sitting at the table and weren't talking to one another. And, I came in and you moved it forward. And I just got to say, of all the five groups, when they got up to present their project in a business sense, they were the most dynamic. So a
Yep.
lot of times we think that we have to be in line with someone, we have to have everything. But if we're willing to really step into our lives and be clear, right, about what is vital to us, what's important to us, and what it is that are the riches of our lives, then we don't feel diminished by anyone. And then we can engage with people in a very different way. And you are the walking, talking manifestation of that, my darling. That's all I want to say. And I always tell that, I always talk about that
Thank you
event.
so
So
much.
such a contribution to me too. Yes, pleasure, pleasure.
Thank you. So
You
for
notice my Ritu Kumar? Hello, do you know?
oh yeah,
Do you remember?
absolutely.
And now I know a new way to wear this too. So,
Oh, I, I always love how creative you've been with, clothes and everything for that matter.
I always have something on from India.
I
If it's
know.
earrings, if it's shoes, if it's a dress, if it's a shawl, I always have something on. It's so funny. It's not that I say, "Oh, I have to wear it," but when someone says, "Oh, where is that from?" Oh, that's from India. So, yeah, and I'm so grateful for you, and yeah, for that, and Miss Tulika who introduced us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, Cass, a lot of people don't necessarily have businesses. Like we have quite a few people on right now, and many of them don't necessarily have businesses. And yet, I know that the tools in this book, I mean, not like I said, I haven't yet read the book, but I know I have been in the class, so I know how these tools can contribute in a day to day life. So, if somebody had to ask you, how to get this sense of being in rhythm, having that richness of life, and what would be one of the key things that they would have to the tool that they could use to start having that rhythm, start having that joy of dancing, tapping into the richness of their life. Because I have seen that many times there is plenty going for a person, but at the same time, there's so much going on, which is not exactly very pleasant, that you fail to be able to see the riches.
absolutely, absolutely. And there are no coincidences. It's a great question. There are no coincidences, and one of the things that I invite people to look at in that Dancing with Riches class is what it is that is essential and vital for you in your life. And so a lot of times we talk about events, we talk about things that respond to one of the five easy senses. What you can see, what you can taste, what you can smell, what you can touch, right? What you can hear. And it's either in being in a location, being with certain people, but there's an essence
Mm.
we get to that is something that makes your heart sing, let's say, something that makes your inner smile come out, something that makes you feel at peace with yourself. So really looking at that in the various experiences that you have had when you felt that comfort. And in response to your question, one of the things I play with, and that, and ask people is, what is it that you consider a limitation? What if, and how do you figure that out? Well, what is it that perhaps you feel you are too much of or not enough of? What is it that perhaps people have accused you of or judged you for not being talkative enough, not being present enough, not being, silent enough, not being clear enough, not, or being too loud or being too quiet or being too messy, or what are some of those things? And I invite people to look at that, because beyond the judgment beyond the what we've considered a limitation or a lack is actually a genius, a capacity, something that's unique about us, you know?
Right.
And if you're willing to look at it, you know, and it's quite easy. How many of us are it's so easy to see what we don't do,
Right.
right, quote unquote, or right, or what we do too much of or not enough of. We're always daydreaming. We're always, and I invite people to look at that from a different perspective, you know? And that's what dancing with the riches are. Because if there's something that you do that is something that you're always doing, what is it that you're not willing to acknowledge about that? That if you were willing to see it from a different perspective, you notice how that is sort of, you know, like I say in the 7 steps, your unique brand of magic, the way you are. One, you know, example is like being impatient, you know, getting bored. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not concentrating. I've got to get more, you know, or being impatient. Yes, can you finish? Can you finish? Because I just want to get to the point. Those are actually capacities that show up and are defined in this reality as maybe being bored, being not present, being impatient. But how much is it actually an awareness you have, right, of what somebody's already going to say? So
Oh,
you can,
yeah.
you know, you're like, can you get to the end of that sentence so I can, you know, add something here, or what is possible, but that they're not seeing. So if you're willing to look and really, a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to concentrate on me, you know, because I want to help the world, I want to help others, I have to help my children, I have to, you know, be there for my parents, I have to be there for my partner. But if you're not there 100% for you, then what is it that you're contributing to others? It's not the greatest you that you can be. So you've got to be willing to gift yourself your attention, your time, your presence, right? It's almost like having a cup, you know, that's half full and you're trying to give everybody water, you know, please no, take water. I know I want you to have water because I don't want you to be thirsty. I want you to have, oh, this is my kid. I have to, oh, I did, it's my kitty cat. Oh, you know, and then the water's gone. So A, you're thirsty. And B, whoever it is that you have been nurturing doesn't have that resource anymore because you are also not having that to give to them. So, what if we're willing to nurture ourselves, to dedicate that time for ourselves, to really acknowledge our riches and have that cup of water overflow so
Mm.
that not only is it fresh, right? There's a continuity of freshness, right? But there's so much, not only for you, but for others, you know? So really, it all starts with you. And when we're talking about dancing with the riches, we're talking about being in rhythm with the energy of change in your life, right? So that you can actually be that contribution for others to see you and to receive your greatness. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And a lot of times people think being in business means, you know, doing something that makes money, right? Or running your own, having your own business. No, no. Being
Mm.
in business is actually being in the flow that is generating and creating. As we say in Access, you know, I am money. I am creativity. I am power. You know, I am awareness. So it doesn't mean you have to have something that is your creation. There are so many, and we say this with Access. I don't know if everyone here is familiar with Access, but we talk about how there are creative people, but there are also people who connect, you know, and there are also people who actually are able to put things in order. Like you're amazing at all of that, so, right? And we all have all of those capacities, but
Yes.
sometimes there's an artist, a painter who's amazing. I know this Japanese woman who's living in Paris, and she was helping host me for a class there. I went to her house, amazing paintings, creativity beyond. But she didn't know anyone who could get her into a gallery or go and approach a gallery or, you know what I mean? Work with her, you know? And then even if she knew somebody who knew how to organize and set up in a gallery and put the lights together and put all that together, if there wasn't someone who knew how to communicate with people to say,
Mm,
hey, come to the gallery, come see these paintings, they're awesome,
mm,
creators, connectors, movers, we talk about in access. So you know that creative genius, without somebody who is able to contribute to her, does not have a successful business. So it doesn't have to be yours. It can be someone else's, and you can be a vital part of that. And if you're willing to acknowledge those capacities, and that's something I like to invite people to look at, asking them questions like, I never thought about it like that. Hmm. Boom.
right.
They're
So,
connected. Yeah.
right. So when one person is choosing to be that and have that, uh, that itself then becomes something that can contribute to another being able to awaken to the riches in their life and then, get into the rhythm, the flow, and truly, embody the richness of what they're really good at, but just didn't know how to or couldn't recognize it or couldn't go about it. So I think it just takes that one person.
Absolutely. And I always give the, example of what people are taking as criticism, you
Mm,
know? And I've been very, grateful when, Gary Douglas, when he was coming to Italy's, first trips outside of Australia and the USA, I invited him to Italy in 2007 and hosted the classes, translated the classes simultaneously, like doing all this stuff. And one year he said to me at a 7-day event in Costa Rica, he said, yeah, well, what if you didn't have to stay just in Italy?
right?
What do you mean? I mean, I gotta go there because I gotta host you and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And it's like, what if you were willing to expand beyond Italy?
Mm,
And once and how you hear something and I'm like, oh, what does that mean? I'm not doing a good job in Italy. I'm not good. And what invitation is it for you to expand that? And once he said, yeah, you're a creator, connector, mover, but you really don't like doing the organizational part. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm not good at an organization. It's about acknowledging, what? If I were willing to
mm,
see other people who did the organization, how much more creativity could I engage with? Wow. How much more time would I have for connecting with people, for being here? I'm traveling to Saudi Arabia at the end of the month, and I was right before coming on, and so I was like a minute late. I'm online with my mover, filling out the forms that you need to come back into Italy. And it was just like so crazy. She was like, just give me the password. I'll do it. Uh, I can be there with Smriti on the call then now. I can connect with people. I can maybe create something for people. Yeah. So
and
what is it that
and
you
yet,
considered
Kass,
a limitation or a judgment or a
yeah,
lack or not enough or that you're not doing? And if you're actually willing to know what it is that brings you joy, that is so much ease for you, then you can win. And this is what we play with the dancing with riches. Then you can see what are the characteristics of someone who would be in line with your desires and help you expand it even more. Can even be, feeding the cat or the doggy. Oh, I love feeding the doggy and I love playing with the doggy, but do I really have to take the doggy out for a walk and to make poo poo? I mean, maybe I could hire someone. My girlfriend, she's hired someone to do that. So
yeah,
he's now got a nice place to stay in her house. she can go out on vacation because he's there, and it's created more for both of their lives.
That's so awesome. And yet, sometimes it just seems like such a difficult thing to do because you have to give up control or you have to give up certain ideas. How can I afford to engage somebody for this kind of a for this aspect of my business or of my life for that matter? And there's so
Absolutely.
many ifs and buts and questions and doubts and unwillingness to
Absolutely.
let go that it just keeps us from expanding our life to the extent that we could expand it.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we think that we don't, not recognizing what the riches of our life are and what we can actually offer to other people,
Mm,
right? Then we're not clear that they're offering something to us that comes with a lot of ease to them, and we're offering something to them that comes with a lot of ease. So what is the exchange you can be and do with someone, and having clarity about what it is you desire and require, and what maybe your business or your home or something requires, will, the moment you're willing to look at that and not going to the wrongness of you, the universe will bring you so many options. I'm working with, I wanted to invite her here, I'm working with a I've been working a couple of years with this great writer from Mumbai,
mhm,
and when I'm doing articles, right? If I'm doing them for the US, right, it's a different English. It's a different type of English. It's not so much a UK English. And so I've got this guy who's a musician. He's been living here in Italy for 30 years. He's from America, and he never thought of himself as a proofreader, you know? And so just giving him something and having him proof it, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got to need to pay him for that. And he's so grateful, right? When he can come and because he's working a lot, have a dinner in the garden, have a night at the bed and breakfast I have here, have other possibilities for work, So it's not even always a cost. So you've got to be willing to see what you think is normal and regular and average about you, but that you have such grace with, you know and so many of us have that. So, and I one of my talents is seeing that in people. It's so obvious to me.
yeah.
And sharing that with people, yeah, and them
So
saying,
there's
well,
a
doesn't everybody do that?
so
Yeah.
there's a visual popping for me. When you're at a social, we used to call it a social in school, but like say you're at a ball, right? And there are lots of partners to choose from. You can dance with any of them, right? And so here we are in this beautiful universe, which is filled with riches. And riches come in some form or the other. And one of the biggest forms is people who embody those riches. And here you are in this universe. You have n amount of partners to choose from to foxtrot with or to salsa with or, you know, do ballroom dancing with. But are you willing to, so it's like being at a social or being at that ball and, being willing to say, hey, I'm stepping in, okay? And will you dance with me? And what
Yeah,
can we create from here? Can we have a beautiful dance together?
absolutely. And of course, dancing is being in rhythm. You could even be standing still.
Yeah.
But if you're dancing with your riches, you're actually allowing that flow of all the energy, all the
Mm.
molecules, all the cells, all the creativity within your universe. And I just put in the chat, you had mentioned we're afraid to be out of control or having to spend money. But what if, and this was just brilliant, what if control,
Mm.
having a capacity to control, right, was not always a limitation, right? If you are willing to choose when to be in control, when control is required,
Yeah.
you know, and asking the question, is my control required here? No. Okay, great. Hi, can we go out, and take a walk? Um, so what if receiving or being present was not just passive,
Mm.
if you're actively present, so that you know the moment when something is required, and you're willing to step up and pull the doggy back before he goes into the street and gets run over by a car, but not be holding on to him, jerking him, like that every 5 seconds because you're controlling, but you're just with them. And when you're present, you actually know exactly when your presence is required. Yeah,
I love that. Active presence and passive presence.
yeah, yeah. And that's what, it's a journey. It's this journey called life, right? And so it's not like, okay, I've reached my destination. I'm, present and I'm like conscious and I'm like this and I'm like that. It's a continuous journey. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so what we're doing is really activating and inviting more and more of that. So it's maybe we're 90% not present and 10% present. But if you know when you're not present or not being you, it's because you have been present and you have been being you. Otherwise, you wouldn't know the difference.
No, right?
Otherwise, it
Absolutely.
wouldn't be an awareness of yours.
Yeah.
So what would it take if we were to acknowledge that 10% and give that some of our attention, and not just, oh, I don't do this, the limitation. So beginning to nurture that part of us, that the riches of us, so that they actually increase and expand and become more of what we're engaging with. And have fun and use this tool of access consciousness 10 seconds if you want to be really mad and angry or feel bad. Do it really 150,000% for 10 seconds, and the next 10 seconds 140,000%. And the next 10 seconds, okay, 20,000%. And the next 10 seconds, okay, I'm done. Next. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It can actually be that simple.
yeah. And you know what, you can't get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. You can't get you
Yeah.
wrong.
That's the other thing, that stops so many, uh, that unwillingness to be wrong. And if there is a concept called wrong, I really don't know. I don't believe that. So, but that fear, that what if this doesn't pan out? What if this goes south? What if? And so much of that, that concept of wrong keeps us also from stepping into the riches.
Absolutely. And, that's just a choice. I mean, like Nelson Mandela said, you never lose. You either win or you learn something.
Yeah.
Mhm. So if you are not willing to step out, take that step, right? Then you won't see the various paths that are available on this journey called life, you know? So if you're sitting at I'm telling you, I used to do that when I was when I would travel and I had a day off and I was in the hotel room and I'd be looking at the map, you know, after breakfast and saying, okay, I'll go here and then I'll go here and then I'll go here. Or no, maybe I'll go here first and then change and I'll have lunch here. And lunchtime would come and go and I'd still be in the hotel planning the trip. What if we're willing to just say, I'm going to start and see what shows up. And somebody walks by and you see something that's in their hand. It's a store. Oh, let me go into that store. And then you go into that store and you run into somebody who says, wait a minute, do I know you? I think I've seen you. And where you were planning to go to lunch, maybe you go to lunch with them. And so if we're willing to embark on this journey called life, then the options, the possibilities that show up are infinite. And when you're connected with you, and these is such, clear tools. And when you're connected with you and your vibration, and that's the riches, the essence of you. It's your heartbeat is one of the energies that exist on this planet. If you're willing to connect with that, right, and raise that vibration, it's a contribution to you, your body, your relationships, your money, your business, but also to the planet. The planet's like, thank you so much, right? And what you choose that's in line with that vibration that doesn't diminish it will be a contribution to not only you, but to the world. Yeah, yeah. And
Oh.
it's like, oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh well, next 10 seconds, what will I choose? And keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done that. Like even when we were together in India, and we've done that. We've done so many things that were really not on the plan. They were so impromptu, and just we followed the energy, and we went with the flow, and we had such a blast. We ended up
Yeah.
in some lovely fabric stores, and we ended up in some lovely restaurants, and so much joy. And even the classes, they turned out, to be something more than we even imagined they could be. And that was just the
Absolutely.
willingness to just go.
And those interviews when I did the interview I did with the yogi in your home. And
Yes.
yeah, and it's been such a contribution for me when I meet people who are doing all kinds of yoga all around. And I say, well, in India, they don't have all these necessarily distinctions from yoga. So it's been such a contribution. And yeah, and what else? And, when you're willing to connect with you and to make those choices, you have lovely partner, right? You find a lovely partner, lovely daughter, and are able to do 10,000 things like you do. And thrive and thrive. And that's a gift. And I really love your clarity about what works for you and what doesn't. And I'm so grateful that I work for you.
Oh, love you. So, are you up for any questions anybody may have?
Oh, me, of course.
All
You,
right.
you know me, mamacita.
I know, but
You know. This is my Spanish accent. You like it?
love it. So, everyone, all you beautiful people who are on here in this conversation, first of all, thank you for being here. And if you have any questions for Kass, please unmute yourself and ask.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a question. It can also be a comment. Has any of this been interesting to you? Or are you like, yeah, can you talk? Once I did a class with a lovely facilitator, Claudia Cano. We did a class in Ireland, and this guy was like, what are you guys talking about? What is this about? And I said, well, what did you think it was? He said, I thought it was going to be a guided meditation or something. I was like, oh, I can do
So,
that. You want a guided meditation? I can do that.
there's nothing we can't do. So,
Exactly. And
Nambo
then
is saying,
a week later, he wrote and he said, I don't know what you guys did or what you were talking about, but I've never had so many changes in my life show up.
wow,
So
wow.
even if you don't have anything to say, please just share with us what shows up over the next couple of days.
So Nambo is saying, thank you, Smee and Kass. I'm sashaying. So I'm glad. This was like when our conversation about, the dance floor, etc., was on. And then Neha is asking, what is the difference between being actively present and passively present?
Love that question. Love that question. So one of the examples is when you're passively present, it's like sitting back on the couch and just, being drifting away and waiting. It's like passively waiting. And then the doorbell rings and you have to get up and then go. Actively present is, wonder what the magic is. You're still relaxed. Wonder what's going to show up. Hmm. Wonder what else is possible here. and then it shows up and you see it and you're present with it. One is like stepping down and stepping back, and one is like stepping up and being willing and ready to step out whenever there's a calling. You know, I hope that that sort of makes sense. Once a friend, Jonas Svensson, he was supposed to find a location for a class in Sweden with Gary, for Gary Douglas, and I was co-creating that, and we were all waiting for him to give us the location. And we, called him. Did you get the location? No, no, I didn't get it. Well, have you looked at some other ones? No. There's one location I really get that it would be great, but it's outside of our budget. I've already talked to them 3 times and they just won't lower the price. So I'm just waiting to see what else is going to show up. But the way he was waiting was actively waiting, and something pinged him. It was like sitting on the couch day after day doing his work, but waiting for something to show up, for something to ping him. And one day he made the call again to the same hotel that 3 times had told him no. And he said, "Hello, this is, Jonas. I'm so sorry to bother you. I know that we've talked 3 times, and that your price is set. I just would really, really love to bring our workshop there. And I'm just wondering if anything has changed." And they said, "Oh, well, we've changed the whole sales department over the last week. So maybe you want to talk to the sales department and see if it can change." It's Guess where we had the class? Guess
No
where we had,
brainer.
you know? So that's like not passively, looking down. It's relaxed and looking up and seeing what the universe is bringing to you, seeing what the possibilities will show up. And this is the beauty of using these questions. Not a specific question, any question. What else is possible? How does it get any better? What can I see today that I haven't been able to see up until now? Which is my New Delhi phrase, by the way. I use it in all my classes, up until now. Because when you acknowledge that up until now, maybe you've had a certain limitation or stopping point or something that you have been looking at from a negative position. When you say up until now, you're acknowledging that I'm ready and willing to change it. So, universe, show me the magic. What is the change I can be here? Is that helpful?
Neha, is that helpful for you, sweetie?
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Cass.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Yeah. So much more. Yeah. Great question, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in fact, to add to that, what I have seen is I have, by and large, I have this clarity about where I'd like to go, what I'd like to create. And yet, in that moment, I have no idea of the how and the, all the details. And yet, I'm willing to be actively present. And I'm excited and I'm patient at the same time. And because I'm willing to be actively present, because I know where I want to go, I have the energy of it. And because I'm willing to be actively present, when it shows up in front of me, I know I'm going for it. And that time there's no logic, there is no justification, nothing. I just know this is what I've got to go for. And I just go for it. And eventually it's like everything lines up. And I'm exactly where at one point in time I wanted to get to.
And you have this clarity, and when something is not clear for you, not just you, for anyone, when something is not clear for us, you can use a question. Okay, is now the time? Is this relevant? Is this relevant? It's a great question, and am I missing some information here? Is there something else that I can be looking at
Yeah.
if we're not focused on this? distract yourself, consciously distract yourself, right? If you can't get clarity on something, tell yourself a joke, watch a funny film. You know what I mean? Do something silly with your, with your cheeks or something, just so, and then right away ask yourself the question again. So your mind is like, oh no, let me catch up. Let me catch up. You've distracted me. I want to catch up so that I can, but it's your knowing that will go beyond your mind. And the knowing is the that other 90% of the brain. you know it's that intuition, it's that inner knowing, that inner peace that connects you with
Yeah.
the inner. And so everything that, I love when we say that in access, everything that doesn't allow it, I don't care what it is, I now just destroy it. I don't need to fix it. I just destroy it and uncreate it and stop giving my creative energy to the problem, the limitation, the wrongness. Let me give it to what else is possible. Yeah.
So Ritu has a question. She says, how can I help myself with money? She's always struggling to manage her needs and expenses, and my husband also keeps having problems with the job. And I also keep trying hard to earn my living from the work I'm doing. How to change the mindset?
Right. So are you willing to receive money from others?
Ritu,
That's the
would you
first
like
thing.
to?
That's the first thing that came when she said, how can I help myself with money? Are you willing for other people to help you with money? Are you willing to receive it from others? And what are your talents? Already you just named like 5 of your talents, how you have the perspective of how other people are engaging with money. That's a talent, right? So what is it that you see? Would you be willing to do that as a coaching session for people? Oh, I can definitely tell you if you're having issues with money, right? Is that one of your talents?
Ritu, you're most welcome to unmute yourself, sweetheart, if you have something further to ask or add.
And there is, Ritu, there is this, I'm in the middle of almost toward the end of this 10-part telecall series. It is not the first time I've done it with this how to become money workbook and access. And it exists. You can get it. You can even get the ebook version of it on the Access website. And let me tell you, it is amazing. And I've done it for so many years. And this time, what is really shifting is how to become money. We already are that energy, and how you can actually expand that. It may not show up, manifest, right, immediately as a tangible element. But like Smriti is saying, and like she was communicating about her the vibe of what she would like to create in the future, right? It may not manifest physically at the moment for her, but she's willing to connect with the energy of that. So, are you willing to connect with the energy of money? And if you use the access tools, parking plot, all the points of view you have about money. And I'll tell you something in the book. I hope that you get the book on my money chapter, is how I stopped myself from making money based on a point of view I had, right? Someone, my ex-husband, owed me money. And until I was willing to, bless it and release it, that point of view that he had to pay me back, I never allowed myself to make more money than what he owed me. So what are the points of view you have about money, and what quantity of money that don't allow you to go beyond that zone, you know? And so, and the end, the idea of being in debt, the idea of filing bankruptcy, all of that I had, when I was willing to give that up, the moment I filed bankruptcy, I started making more money than I had ever made before. So what is the point of view you have that you can bless and release so that you can begin dancing with the riches of your life? Anyway, lots of great questions in that chapter 4 about money, dancing with the riches of your life.
I am looking forward to reading that chapter for sure, besides all the other chapters. So, Ritu, we couldn't hear you if you were trying to speak. If you want to try now, try once more. And Poonam wants to know, when can she be in a live class with you, Kass? So let's
Can
wait for the
travel.
borders to open.
This is the first time in years I have not been in India in over 2 or 3 years, I think was the last time. I can't imagine that again.
Right.
Yeah, I miss it. So if you're
And
able to travel, let me know. If you're able to,
yeah,
And yeah, and as soon as I'm able to come to India, definitely going there.
yeah.
There's so many. I mean, I was just saying that somebody. There's so many people that I love. It's so, maybe because it's the country with the largest number of people in the world. No, it's because I'm
Hi,
Indian.
Cass. I think you were there in India in 2018 last time. Is that correct?
I think that's 3 years ago, right? Yeah,
Yeah. And I did a
yeah.
body class with you in January 2018
In
and
Mumbai.
in Mumbai. And yeah,
Nice.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. We had the host. Smriti was one of the hosts, not Smriti with us here. Smriti was one of the hosts.
No, I
No, no,
was,
not that particular year, Cass.
Uh,
That was the year I wasn't too well, and
yeah,
yeah.
it was not done by Smriti. It was done by Ashish, but we had a great time that time. And
I
then
think that with Ashish, it was in January, and I think
January.
that was that 2017.
Oh, 2017? Oh,
I don't know. I think so.
okay.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a magic Mumbai magic body
Yeah,
magic. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
4 years. It's a long
Um,
time. We
I
need
don't
to
know.
see you very soon.
So, Poonam, as
Yeah.
soon as borders open, we will have Cass here, and you can do live classes with her.
Yeah.
And Shivani, you want to know how do we get to be part of that money workbook? So there are a lot of facilitators across the world, CFs who facilitate how to become money workbook. If you'd like to do it with Cass, I'm sure you can get onto her. You can get onto her website and check her schedule when she's doing the next one. And before that, if you like, you can get onto the Dancing with the Riches, which is also available online, right, Cass? So you
Yes.
can, yeah, so you can get onto that. We've posted a link for you. It's been posted a few times on the chat. It's on the 14th of July. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. Rome time.
So that's 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. India time.
India time. And
Yes.
so that is the intro. And then normally it's followed by another 2 days, full 2 days class. Are you having that as well, Cass, after the
Yes,
intro?
yes. Not immediately after the
Not
intro,
immediately.
no.
Okay.
We'll do
So
a
right now it's just the intro, guys. So if you like, you can get onto that call as well. We posted the link in the chat for you to register,
Yes.
get other information about it.
And
And
anyone who is they should have a Kindle version of the book, but I've shared a lot of information of the book about the book here. So anyone who goes onto Amazon and puts a comment about the book in the Amazon will get the class for free.
woohoo! So that's all you've got to do. Get the book. Um, uh, on the India Amazon, because sometimes we can't purchase on any other Amazon sites, but on the India Amazon, you definitely have the book in hard print. So you can get the paperback um, till the Kindle version comes out. So get a paperback instead, and you
Yeah.
can still comment and get this.
Absolutely. And when I come to India, I'll do my special signature for you on the book. Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope it was a contribution. It was so lovely to be here with you. Anyone else have anything that I can be a contribution to? Well, one of the things I just would like to ask you is, what are some of the riches, right? What are some of the talents, the abilities that you have that you may have considered a limitation or a defect or a fault? And I'd love to invite you to write them down. Too much, too little of something, and then look at them the next day and see if you can see how it's actually a talent and ability. And we'll play with that on the intro a bit too. Yeah.
For me, it's a no-brainer. Impatience, plenty of it, always in a rush to create. And I thought it was such a bad thing, to be so impatient, because I was always thinking, why are you so impatient? Why can't you have so patient? But I realized that it's because I am impatient to create. I've created everything I've created. And yet I know that I have plenty of patience. I can be very patient when I'm required to be patient. So just being willing to be actively present and be what I need to be in that moment. So yeah, so something like that, whatever it may be for you.
Awesome. And, impatience is about not being willing to wait. But how much is waiting have to do with the linearity of time?
Yep.
So is it your capacity to see beyond the linearity of time that, you know what I mean, that you identify as impatience?
Absolutely. And I only got that. Yeah, I only got that later. I didn't know that. I used to make myself so wrong. I'd let people make me so wrong about it. And there's really nothing wrong about it. Everything has its own place. So Shivani's saying she's just placed the order for the money workbook, how to become money workbook. Awesome, Shivani, great choice. Kanika wants to know, Kass, is there a country pricing for your class? Or is it a single price?
It's a single price for the class, but if you're willing to go on and just even put some kind of comment or the stars on there, then let me know and you can absolutely get it for free, the class. My desire is to have everyone on for free that has been a contribution to the book, voting on Amazon. So that's the dancing with the riches that I would like to be. So please just
so Kanika, go for it. Get onto the Amazon site. Neha says she's already bought the book and she is waiting for it to get delivered, and she's super excited.
You could just write in there, oh my goodness, I've heard about this book and it sounds delicious and delightful, and I can't wait till my book order arrives. And so that's a comment.
Nana has just bought her copy, so that's fantastic. All righty.
Right. Thank you so much. We'll share with there's a couple of articles that have come out. And if anyone knows any place we can send some articles about the book, let us know. And that will be a gift too, that you can have with the class. Anything. You just make up a good reason, a good contribution to the book. Yeah. And getting access out there in the world. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. So Kass, as always, I wish you all the riches in the world. May you always soar and fly and thrive. And we love you, and we want to say thank you. Ranjali has just said she bought her copy of her book as well. So yay to all of you for choosing something greater for you.
Yeah. And let me know how it is. Even if you don't like it. You know what, Kass? I like you, but I didn't like the book. No, you're kidding. I want to thank you, everybody, for shining your light on me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kass.
Bye, Amor.
Have fun. How do we get to be in your class? You just get onto Kass's site, Shivani, and we've placed the links over here. So you can get onto her website and you can sign up for her classes. They're amazing. I can tell you about that from a personal experience.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you have written something on the Amazon, you can send it, say, hey, check it out, I wrote it, Kass@KassThomas.com. Okay.
Awesome. You can even like take a screenshot of your comment.
Yes,
And if you like, tag Cass on Facebook. That's another way to do it. If you don't know how to connect
absolutely.
with Cass, so just tag her on Facebook. She's there. And that's the other way to go about it.
Yep, absolutely. Then when you get the book, please take a picture of you with it and send it to me, and I'll put you on my website.
Yoo-hoo. So if you
All
want to
right.
get, you want to show up and you want to be out there, send the picture in. All right.
Yes. Yes. Mwah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Thank you, Cass. Stay well,
Thank
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.